Well, I think it's really important to know that, because we're asking people to go to these debriefings and sort of, demystifying that and what is it? What's going to happen when I go? Because, it can be sort of frightening, and it can be also, why do I have to go? So what we do is we try to get everybody that was involved in the incident to come together. And even if you don't think that you had a significant role in there, there's a part that you play, a piece of the puzzle that you have that can sort of help complete it with everything. But the thing for you to know, if you're asked to come to a debriefing, is that it's a process. It's a process that you go through, and it's written down. The questions are, they're there for everyone. And so everybody sits in a circle, and we give an opportunity for each and every person to introduce themselves. So you get in the first phase of it is an introduction. And so it's, hey, we'll start, and I'm going to go around the room, and the first thing I want you to do is, tell me who you are, who you work with, and, what was your part that you played in the incident. And it's just that simple. And there's 7 phases of it, okay? So you'll start with that introduction, and then you'll go around. And as you're doing the introduction, you're sort of getting some of the facts are coming out, right? And so the second phase is the fact phase. Is, tell me who you are and what role that you played in it. And then you're seeing the incident come together, right? And so, and everybody there is seeing the incident come together. They're starting to see the pieces of the puzzle come together. And then, as you progress through this, you start talking about, okay, well, tell me what your first thought was, when you come off of, after it was over and everything started to calm down a little bit, what was your first thought, Because what that does is that helps us release, hey, this is what I was thinking about it. And because what is happening during this process is everybody's getting back to this sense of normalcy. You're starting to realize, I'm the only one that thought that. But now when you hear other people say it, you go, well, no, she thought the same thing. And then, we go from the thought phase into your reaction phase. What was your reaction to what you saw? Because the goal of the debriefing is stabilization, getting everybody, normalize that sense of community, and that we're okay, we're not alone. And so, man, what was your reaction? And it's helpful because you may have felt like you were a unicorn, that you were reacting to something that nobody else was. But then when you hear other people go, well, yeah, I was reacting the same way. That's comforting.
Mm-hmm.
That starts starts letting us calm down a little bit and go, you know what, I'm normal. And then you go from your reaction phase to the symptom phase. And the symptom phase is just, and sometimes, and don't get caught up in that, oh my God, there's going to be 7 questions. We're going to go in there. Everybody's going to have to answer 7 questions. Because sometimes after it starts and you ask that first question, they'll answer the questions 2, 3, and 4 together as you're going around. And next thing you know, it really only took 3 questions because we sort of filled in all the blanks. Mm-hmm. But the symptom phase, and sometimes it's not everybody goes through that, but it's more generally, hey, does anybody have any problems concentrating? Does anybody have any problems eating?
Or do you have a bad headache?
Or is anybody having a headache? And then we go from the symptom phase as sort of the setup for, okay, here's the teaching phase. Here's some things that you can be on the lookout for. These are some things that you may be experiencing, you may not be experiencing, and just normalizing this process to help everybody just sort of understand, what, I'm okay if I'm feeling this. And then after you get through the symptoms and the teaching phase, it's called the reentry phase, but it's basically just a wrap up. Just saying, hey, look, here's our resources, here's what we've heard, and this, you need to know, these are some things that if you need them, they're there. And I think that we talked about it earlier, but I think it's, again, important to note that not everybody that comes to the debriefing is going to be in a crisis, right? We talked about that people experience these things differently. They have greater experiences than others, and sometimes, this isn't my first rodeo, that kind of thing. But we all have an important part to play. Because you may have a piece of the puzzle that is really critical to everybody else. So it's important to if you're invited to come. There are rules. There's ground rules for these things. You'll always have a leader in the group. And the ground rules are, and we lay them out there and say, hey, look, speak for yourself. You don't have to speak if you don't want to, but we encourage you to do so because you may be helping someone.